We have to take care of ourselves because we can't rely on one foreign partner. We can't control the disruption coming from our neighbors. We can't bet our future on the hope that it will suddenly stop.
What you just heard wasn't just a weekend video update. It was a formal severing of an era, a bracing dose of reality, and it may go down as the moment Ottawa officially stopped pretending that the Canada-US relationship was going to magically repair itself. Because today, Prime Minister Mark Carney didn't just speak to a webcam, he spoke to a country bracing for an economic storm. A country watching its most vital historic alliance fracture under the weight of geopolitical chaos. And he is now making one thing unmistakably clear. Canada must pivot away from the United States or risk being dragged down with it. And before we go further, if you believe in a stronger, more independent Canada, a Canada that confronts its greatest vulnerabilities with eyes wide open and refuses to be pushed around on the global stage, then subscribe, because every single day we bring you the stories that show how this country is fighting for its future. The political landscape is not the same place it was even a few months ago. And according to the experts dissecting Carney's message, this isn't just about trade, it's about preparing the public for pain. Let's hear exactly how the panel described the true intent of this moment.
He was saying the words flatly, things are going to get bad. And so he was setting expectations so that when things do get bad, just like when the central bank kind of gives its forward guidance, there's softening in fourth quarter is expected. Then when it happens, people say, yes, that's right. That was forecast. That was predicted. This is part of the plan.
Now, this is where the strategy takes a stark and sobering turn. That phrase, things are going to get bad, isn't meant to inspire. It's meant to inoculate. It was aimed at every business owner, every worker, and every family who thinks the rocky waters are almost behind us. They are not. And Carney is making a calculated, almost wartime bet that Canadians need to hear the hard truth. Drawing on his history as a central banker who steered through the 2008 financial crisis, he is laying the groundwork for a period of profound economic adversity. But moving away from America means navigating a minefield, and this is where the geopolitical stakes get dangerously high. He points directly to Canada's deep integration with the United States and calls it a weakness. But in doing so, he might be triggering the exact conflict he's warning about. Listen closely to how this high-wire act is being viewed.
I don't think the Prime Minister wants to see that.
No, but wasn't he kind of making the same point he made in the Davos speech, that the integration was seen as a way to get prosperous, but now it's being weaponized against us? That's what I took from it. Do you see it that way?
Perhaps, but using the language that he did, I think will probably be reported back to Washington as a provocation. And I don't think that bothers him at all. I think he knew his Davos speech was going to be a provocation, and he's fine with it.
Now, that word, provocation, in the current political climate with a volatile and unpredictable Donald Trump looming south of the border, lands like a bombshell. Carney is drawing a line, deliberately, publicly, and the political world felt it. But here is what makes this strategy truly remarkable. Carney isn't backing down, he's leaning in. He's betting that projecting strength and a willingness to walk away works better against the current US administration than quietly begging for a good deal. It's an assertion of national sovereignty. But this grand vision of international defiance has a blind spot. A massive one. While Ottawa plays a high-stakes game of geopolitical chess, the opposition is pointing to something happening at the ground level, something undeniable. Canadians are hurting right now. And Conservative Leader Pierre Poilievre delivered a blistering counterattack that drags the conversation out of the stratosphere and directly into the wallets of ordinary citizens. Let's hear how he framed it.
Now, it's not surprising that the Prime Minister wants to distract from his costly failures by pushing fear and re-upping his rhetoric yesterday. We do not need more costly illusions from Mr. Carney. We need real-world results at your grocery store, your gas pump, and in your bank account.
Stop and sit with those three locations for a moment. Your grocery store, your gas pump, your bank account. This is the moment where geopolitical strategy collides with raw, immediate reality. Poilievre isn't arguing about global supply chains or continental trade corridors. He is pointing to the crushing weight of food inflation and everyday survival. He understands something crucial. You can talk about pivoting away from the United States and forging new economic paths all you want, but a nation cannot build a resilient future if its citizens cannot afford to feed their families today. And the numbers back it up. Inflation is biting, and the patience of the Canadian public is wearing thin. This wasn't just a weekend video and a standard political rebuttal. It was the defining clash of our current era, a direct collision over how Canada survives a world that is shifting under its feet. From a crumbling continental trade agreement to threats against Canada's economic stability, Mark Carney made one thing absolutely clear. Canada is bracing for a rupture and preparing to stand alone. But the opposition is asking the ultimate question: at what cost to the working class? This is a country being forced to choose its path forward, whether to absorb the pain of untethering from the American economy or to fight desperately to maintain the ties that keep the cost of living from exploding. And whether you agree with the Prime Minister's defiance or the opposition's demand for immediate relief, this moment feels like something historic, like a country staring down the barrel of its most consequential economic showdown in a century. The only question now is, how much turbulence can Canada endure? Subscribe, because this story is only just beginning.